North America to Central and South America. A spectacular region consisting of 20 Republican countries and a whopping 600 million Romance-speaking populations in total. Not only that, this densely populated region has an area reaching up to about 21 million kilometers square.
Having said that, this is by no means a perfect utopia land, as there exists an array of immediate issues. Case in point, the deteriorating environment. Bestowed with nature's gift, Latin America stands as a lush and rich gold mine, a bejeweled repository with a bunch of non-ferrous and precious metals. Spreading across South America is the vast, smooth, and silty Amazon Delta. Also diverse in flora and fauna, all of which are enshrouded within an ideal tropical rainforest climate. Although a stunning spectacle, this gift actually does more harm than good in the development of the majority of Latin America. Specifically, as a direct result of overexploitation, water sources are at risk of contamination, and the ecosystem is teetering on the brink of collapse, setting in stone a severely lacking future. And since obsolete technology is still in use in resource exploitation, it barely boosts the economy. Not only that, once the natural resources are used up, a looming crisis of bankruptcy arises for the factories. This process alone cannot catalyze a much-needed economic shift to a more lucrative manufacturing process. Reliant on their value on the market, natural resources succumb to the boom and bust pattern. Finally, the process of exporting resources heavily relies on the global market, which can influence the foreign currency income, national budget, and other development goals.
Furthermore, Latin America is also awaged with societal and political problems. First and foremost, wealth disparity and social inequality is aggravating by the minute. In terms of economic inequality, the salary of the 10% of the population that is wealthy is 40 times greater than that of the other 10% low-income group. What is more, a mere 1% of the affluent individual can already take hold of 35% of the national wealth. Moving on to politics, supposedly it is the political corruptions and incompetence that precipitated this predicament. The government only focused on securing the positions, showing little to no regard for national betterment. Even more disheartening is the fact that corruption acts as a catalyst for the increase in crime in general, causing social dismay and uneasiness. Not entirely domestic, the problem goes beyond the border with political conflict among authorities. This is a common issue with potential political instability. A case in point can be the disagreement between the self-proclaimed President Juan Guaido with Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro, which escalated into a do-or-die situation. The USA interventions policies on other Latin American countries. America supports Latin American political opponents via economic restraint and military intimidations. Taking all of the aforementioned issues into considerations, the consequences are discernible. Among the 650 million people in this region, it is projected that roughly 250 million of them will face famine, and more than 32 million will become poverty-stricken. It even extends to unemployment rate surging from 8.1% in 2019 to 11.5% in 2020, which translates into 50 million individuals without a job.
Regarding the economy, some flaws are incredibly glaring. In general, it all comes down to the inconsistent growth in the economy of Latin America. Agricultural innovation is still incomplete, which, although allowed most farm owners to retain most of their properties, leaves underprivileged farmers with no land to cultivate and make ends meet. Previously mentioned is the political instability, one of the primary culprits behind the stagnation of economic growth and foreign investment. Up until now, no proper policies have been legislated to kickstart the economy, which, for the time being, is still deeply dependent on international capitalism, especially America. There were several attempts to revolutionize the economy, however, most of which ultimately came under fire, kindled by the deprived. Additionally, Cuba's depressed economy can be rationalized through the embargoes coming from America since more than 2 decades ago. What is more, with past national tension, it is unlikely that the embargo will be lifted, which, in a sense, maroons Cuba's economy altogether, leaving them with no hope of development. Venezuela was also a victim of American embargoes since 2017, with stringent policies in oil exploitation and export, halting Venezuela's economic growth as a result. After considering all of the downsides, it is transparent that Latin America's economy has sunk deep into a quagmire. So, what does the future hold for this Romance-speaking region? Well, it's not so bright, to say the least, as the economic index of Latin America in the early 2020 has plummeted from 14.1 to negative 60.4. Economic growth is also predicted to stagnate and slump by 5.3%, the most severe since 1930.